Hey guys, Mono here. So, being that it is the Halloween season, we're going to go ahead and kick off a new podcast or recording or show, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be called Purely Our Opinion. So, essentially, it's just going to be me and Angelo. We're just going to riff. We're just going to pick a topic and we're just going to talk about it. And because it's spooky season, we're going to talk about zombies. Now, it's not just going to be zombies. It's going to be our interactions with zombies, our favorite interactions with zombies, our worst interaction with zombies, and where do we feel like zombies are now. So, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. What was your most memorable first reaction or first interaction with zombies?
Of course, back in the day, Resident Evil 1, back when, I don't know if you guys remember, it had the old school, it was in a long box. It was my family friend's, like, older brother, he had it, and I was trying it out, and I remember the very first time I was playing it, I was all like, okay, let me check this out. And then I was like, oh, you could be either a guy or a girl. And it's like, I'm a guy, so I'll play as the guy. Little did I know, it's a lot easier being before I knew any of the characters' names, I was like, oh, I'm a guy, I gotta play as the guy. Fucking guy has 6 item slots, only a knife, and just like, man, it blew my mind. All I can think to myself is like, this guy sucks. And perhaps maybe that's what became the new stigma for me. And I was like, Chris sucks. He doesn't know nothing. And then he's an idiot. He doesn't know how to make the V-jolt himself. He can't play the piano. Like, it is hard mode. I chose hard mode. And then eventually, I think I got killed by the first zombie. Rip. And then in addition to that, then I became... it was then later after I was killed by the first zombie because I didn't know you're supposed to go back, get Jill's gun, you know, the whole storyline thing. I was you know, a beat 'em up kind of video gamer. And it's like, oh, go fight it, kill it. And then, yeah, I died. And then I guess that's when I started learning and then realizing that there's more to just, oh, there's an enemy there, kill it. Or in this case, there's a zombie there, kill it. Because the zombie can fight back. It's like, and I used to always wonder in all those movies that you would watch, it's like, how are these people dying? And it's like, well, how did I die to the first zombie when I first played Resident Evil 1? Obviously, it's ignorance. What was it? Hubris. And just not thinking and believing there's a possibility you can lose. So I guess in a way, I can say that's a parable of life. Yeah, just riffing. How do you think about that? Zombies, life. You know, eventually they're slow, idiotic creatures, but they're always there. They're always plotting. And then you have the ability to either move away, fight them correctly, or just avoid it, you know, entirely. But most of us just kind of sit there and go like, there's no way that zombie can get to me. Next thing you know, you get bit, and now you're a zombie. Shitty.
So for me, it was Resident Evil 2, but the issue is I knew somebody who was from Japan. So I knew how to play the games before the games came out, but he wouldn't let me see the cutscenes and he wouldn't explain the story to me. So it's almost like I got to sit there and know everything you need to do, and then it wouldn't come to me until I actually played the NA release. So I played Final Fantasy VII like that as well.
Oh, you play it in Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And, well, I played it, but again, he's like, cutscene, get out.
So basically, you had a speedrunner, and then instead of the modern day skipping the cutscenes, he just told you either to get out or whatnot. So basically, you were in a way speedrunning before speedrunning happened.
Yeah, because he didn't want to spoil the game for me because he wanted me to play it, and I'll already be familiar. It'd be like pretty much playing with a guide, but not knowing the story.
Because this is during the time when actually like the Prima guides were a thing.
Yeah.
And when like you would actually go to magazine places and buy the magazine because it had tips and tricks. And matter of fact, I think there was a magazine called Tips and Tricks.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
there was.
Yeah. And I might even still. Well, we might have threw them all away by now, but I mean, I used to have some.
And basically, when I was stumped, he would help me. So
you had your own personal game FAQs.
Yeah. And essentially, what had happened was, I liked only playing the game as Leon. So when I finally got it in NA, I played through the full campaign once starting as Leon, ending as Claire, starting as Claire, ending as Leon, and I would have the save files where I would play the game as Leon, end, and then play as Leon, end.
So Leon A, Leon B.
Yeah.
Now that is crazy. I would never have done that because you needed, like, these are for all the Resident Evil 2 nerds out there. You need to do A, B, A, B. And actually, I think A, B gets you the hunk storyline, and you have to do A, B, A, B, A, B. So, like, 3 total times of playing as both characters. That unlocks Tofu.
I had him do that for me.
Yeah,
anyway,
if you didn't have the hacker, well, not really a hack. Well, I guess you had your own personal, like, game genie or whatever the hell you want to say it. He made it.
Well, he wanted to play the NA version as well.
Oh, okay, so he was doing it regardless.
Yeah. So now this is our introduction. So when did zombies become mainstream for you? And I'm gonna start it off because I don't know when it became mainstream for you, but when it became a real thing, when it became really popular, was that Dawn of the Dead remake. So back then, I know a lot of people now just kind of watch a movie and throw it away. People would deep dive into the genre whenever they came and they watched it, and it was a great movie. Honestly, we should have seen it in theaters twice because it was that good of a freaking movie.
I'll admit this, because after I really had a love for Resident Evil, I started watching all the movies. I watched Night of the Living Dead, all the other classics, and then Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, which honestly I thought was probably the best representation of a zombie movie until the remake. I believe it's Zack Snyder that did it, and arguably I think he did an amazing job. Like, because I don't think there's been a zombie movie that I thought of was any... Because again, as I likened it to the real world parable, a person that sees a slow moving zombie, how the fuck are they going to get bit by that? They're slow. They're dumb. They can barely move. And then they're just going to bite you. So they have to get a hold of you and bite you. That takes a long time for that to happen. And basically that's, again, you're just not paying attention. And then you allow them to. Or again, hubris takes hold. But in the way Dawn of the Dead, the remake did it, they can run. Okay, that's different. Okay, they can run. They can climb shit. They can grab stuff. I don't know if they used tools.
No, they didn't. And basically, for me at least, the reason why I thought this movie caused it to become mainstream is because of all the things that spawned afterward. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Dawn of the Dead came out before 28 Days Later, right?
Yeah.
Before Dead Island.
Yeah. Well,
before...
I don't know. I think 28 Days and Dawn of the Dead were around about the same time. So I don't know who...
Left 4 Dead came out after, though, right?
That's a tough...
I'm pretty sure Left 4 Dead came out.
I think Left 4 Dead came out around like 2003, 2004-ish.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll fact check that.
But then again, Dawn of the Dead might have came out around 2002, 2003.
So we don't really care about the facts here. So y'all in the comments, the comment gods, you go ahead and spit the facts here because this is just from our recollection.
We're pooping this out, basically.
But basically, for me, in my perspective, I felt like Dawn of the Dead changed things because now you're playing these fast-paced, crazy games where it ain't the same zombie no more. It's not the slow, sluggish, boring. You can outsmart them. Essentially they just become obstacles that you deal with throughout the day. These things are horrifying. Like literally, I was not scared of a zombie until Dawn of the Dead. And for me, that's really what kicked off all of these COD zombie style games. All of these zombie style games you played later on where they swarm you, they run at you. That's, to me, is the starting point.
And you believe that probably came from the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah, and that's what made it mainstream because we always knew about zombies, the slow, but that changed the game. Now for you, where did it become mainstream for you? Like, where did it just everyone is now into zombies? Really? Walking Dead?
Walking Dead. The second The Walking Dead came out, then that's like when, if you were to liken it to a person who likes Star Wars from the 70s, 80s, if that person was watching Star Wars and then just what maybe like, I don't know, in the 90s, someone goes, oh, I'm the biggest Star Wars fan. I got all the lunch boxes and everything. And then that person from the 70s just looking at him going like, oh, really? Tell me more. To me, that's what it felt like. Because like The Walking Dead, then all of a sudden people were supposedly zombie experts. But then I talked to somebody, they don't even know who George Romero is. They never seen any of his movies. Like, oh, Night of the Living Dead, is that movie, that old movie, right? And that's how it all became told to him. Oh, it's that old movie. It's that old, that thing. And just like, you got to respect at least a little bit of the history of where it came from to understand where. But then it became a fad, and the second it became a fad, and then maybe I'm just a contrarian. Maybe I just don't. I just like unpopular things, and maybe I'm the guy that wants things to be niche and my own thing. It's like, oh, I like this because I like this and I know everything about it, and I checked out all the guides and I saw the Wikipedia page and I actually spent X amount of hours on this and I learned about all that. And, I got the AB on the hunk and tofu and I finished that. Is it bragging rights? Back then, no one gave a fuck. Because then what? You fucking make a random handle on game FAQs and you brag about your accomplishments, or you brag about something that fucked up. Because YouTube wasn't that as big. If I was smart back then, I would have fucking used my YouTube to do that. But instead, I was posting Uncharted things. Because that was the first real big thing I was posting in terms of games. But, had I had more foresight into what YouTube could have been back then, maybe I would have done that. But, yeah, to me, I feel Walking Dead. Walking Dead just...
Because for me, from my perspective, Dawn of the Dead remake changed the genre and invigorated it.
Yes, it brought it to light, but I'm saying when I felt it was killing it was Walking Dead. Because Walking Dead started killing it. Kind of like how we are currently in 2022. Let's be real. Comic movies, superheroes.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Before, if someone said Captain America, oh, god damn, Captain America, okay. Or the Iron Man, oh, shit, Iron Man, oh, fuck. Or Spider-Man, oh, my god. Now it's kind of like, oh, when's the next one out? Okay, I'll just wait for it, Before, people would be like, oh, wow, they're going to make a Captain America movie? They're going to make a Iron Man movie? Now it's like, oh, when's the next one? Oh, next year? Okay, cool. And now, like, these comic book movies are in the same vein as like a direct-to-DVD movie now. People are, Disney Plus, basically, that's the new direct-to-DVD, the direct-to-VHS. So, like, poor guy, my homie Scott Adkins probably would have been the best Batman if they ever made him, but, supposedly rumor has it Ben Affleck's coming back as well, because now they got, Henry Cavill, they're going to finish that universe, maybe. But let's be real. I feel Scott Adkins could have been the perfect Bruce Wayne, and he could also have been the perfect Batman, because he could do everything. You don't need any stunt actors for him. Just don't do him dirty like he did in Bourne Supremacy, where he just gets knocked out. Cool. In wrestling terms, he did the JOB. Okay, like he was the guy with the gun with the camera on it, and he does a JOB. He gets like knocked out. He gets caught for that fan that had the little light on the door, and he's like, oh, there he is. But yeah.
So then we'll go from there. Now, what was the fallout from it becoming mainstream? So for me, there was a big chunk of time where you only saw fast zombies. 28 days later, 28 weeks later. I know World War Z was a book, but World War Z,
the question
Left
is,
4 Dead, Dead Island.
I don't know if that World War Z, if in the books they were that fast. Maybe they were. I don't.
So,
I never watched,
you never read the book.
I never read the book.
So
did they edit it?
So in the comments, were the zombies fast in the books, or were they only fast in the movie?
Because remember, the original Dawn of the Dead, they were slow prodding zombies.
But that I'm telling you, that for me, that remake changed everything.
That right there alone, because as the saying goes, speed kills. So if something's slow as fuck, and it's like no one's really scared when they see a turtle. Like, oh my god, it's a turtle. I'm like, hey, shit, it's a turtle right there. But then, like, when someone sees like something dart past them on the floor, it's like, what the fuck was that? Could be a cat, could be a dog, could be a rabbit. Could be a rat. Even a rat, when it scuttles across the floor, is like, what was that? Because speed kills. And then that just brought a whole nother, as you said, it brought light. It brought it in a way, it brought the undead back to life. And it got reincarnated. And then 100%, yeah. You're right. Dawn of the Dead remake made zombies. The problem being is now what's I'm sure there's a term for it when there's like a just an overload.
Oh, oversaturation.
It's a hard oversaturation of zombies now.
Then you had COD zombies. You had all those custom games.
Those I'm totally fine with. You know, I'm not the biggest first person shooter person, but anything like that, that's cool. They clearly stole that from Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
Arguably two of the greatest games ever. I can still play right now. And the best thing about Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, what is it? Mods. I can make that entire game all about Resident Evil. All the zombies and enemies, make them all Resident Evil enemies. I can make them Dota 2 characters.
So the problem being though, it took the horror out. So for me, it threw in the action because now you can't be that meek store clerk that somehow outsmarts and lucks his way out. You got to be made of some stuff to deal with them running zombies. You got to have a strategy. You got to, because man, even when they turned in Dawn of the Dead, they turned quick. And it was like, you got to be ready to kill them when people turn because they're going to start running at you. Mm-hmm. And that's scary.
And then like another one recently, people told me this was an amazing movie. I might get heat for this, but I was not a fan of Train to Busan.
Okay, but that comes later.
Okay, comes later.
So now that I talked about the fallout of the running zombies and things going towards action, Resident Evil 4, all the different video games.
Okay. If you're talking about the classic as far as video game wise and Resident Evil, they stopped the slow-ish. Now there's always a tyrant. Now see that was kind of the yin and the yang. There was always a slow prodding zombies. They're everywhere. You could still take care of them. You just got to have enough ammo and all that stuff. But there was always a tyrant. There was a hunter. There was a licker. There was a fast and there was a slow. There was an on and an off. So basically, because of that, you could have variety.
Yeah.
But in a movie, either it's all slow, all fast.
Yeah.
There might be something. But then in Resident Evil, in a game, you can program something like that. And I personally still feel, even though people say Resident Evil 4 might have killed the genre by making it too action-oriented, I believe that's more Resident Evil 5 that did that,
well,
if people are really bitching. But Resident Evil 4 still had the soundtrack, still had the horror, still had the sound. And I truly believe sound is what makes the horror. Now, I hate jump scares. I fucking hate that.
Well, see, the thing about it, you see, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Fallout. There are people who like that old horror build-up style zombie flick where you build up towards the, oh man, to the uncertainty, to the overwhelmingness of dealing with these undead creatures. And then there's action-packed, balls to the wall, non-stop pacing. And that's why, for me, that's what changed it. Now, and then the fallout is, to me, is this. You had a division of people that liked the fast-paced, crazy, like you got people who want to see freaking Navy SEALs versus the fast zombies. And then you have people who just want to see a ragtag group of random civilians survive the apocalypse because they want to be insert Andes. Now for you, what was the fallout that you felt from The Walking Dead?
Number one thing I would say for the fallout on The Walking Dead is that everyone thought that they were... I guess they thought just by watching the show and watching just everything about The Walking Dead, but now they thought they were experts.
Insert Andes?
Insert Andes. And what I mean by experts is that they felt they knew everything about that world, that all the zombies from The Walking Dead, that is cut and dried. That's how zombies work.
So now I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you all the things I told you before The Walking Dead came out. Never walk into a building.
Yes.
Never walk into a crowded area.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in open fields.
Yep.
Forage. Be safe. And you move at night because you don't want to deal with other survivors.
Yep. Makes sense.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember anything from The Walking Dead. So I don't. This is just me being strategic and looking at those types of situations because the worst thing when it comes to like a slow moving zombie world, it's not the zombies you got to worry about. It's
the survivors.
It's the other people.
Yep.
So and so what you're saying is that you're tired of these freaking people that have never been in the wilderness, they've never hunted, they have no combat experience, but because they watch this show, they're going to devise a plan, and they're going to survive the apocalypse. Them and their ragtag group of friends.
And then they're always going to, majority of people are always going to look at themselves and feel that they're going to be like the main character and the person that's going to be righteous and just.
Protagonist syndrome.
Yeah. Motherfucker, I guarantee you're going to be one of the people that are either killed, slaughtered immediately, or you're going to be one of the pieces of shit that are fucking destroying everything that was actually built. When they're trying to rebuild society, you're one of the pieces of shit that just, oh, how come that girl doesn't like me? Or how come that guy doesn't like me? Or vice versa, 2022, however, whatever floats your boat, baby. But just, you are going to be the seed of chaos. But then in your head, you're thinking that you're the fucking force of good. I don't know. That's just kind of how I saw it. The way that just the overall insanity that most people would say and come up with, it's amazing. But you gotta understand, during that time when there is no law, there is nothing that's in effect. It's like, dude, that's Wild Wild West.
Well, as I told you, the strategy, it's being quiet is really important to survival.
Always, yeah. Well, I mean, same thing with hunting. Like, have you ever been on a hunt?
Yep.
How many people can even fucking stay quiet?
Yep.
Like, the modern person nowadays, how many people can just stop fidgeting?
Yep.
That's why they made the stupid ass fidget spinners. This thing was so stupid, but I can't
You're
even
mean.
believe. Well, think about it. Why is it called a fidget spinner? Because instead of them just fucking rocking back and forth like a fucking cocaine addict, they're sitting there spinning this thing. A fidget spinner.
So the interesting thing is that for me, in my perspective, the mainstream was the fast, the action-packed. And then for you, what became mainstream based on the drama, the slow, the prodding, the storytelling, how people are dealing with it. And I guess what you could say is, throughout that era of horror, you had Saw. What else do you have? They remade the Texas Chainsaw Man. You had all these remakes.
Yeah, and then Michael Myers, I think.
Yeah, and you had all these different horror genres come out too. So it's not just zombies that were out at the time, but we're just talking about zombies because, hell.
Torture porn and
like Saw stuff.
Yeah, torture porn and shit like that.
And then there's like, for a while there was like that weird like ghost stuff, like The Conjuring, and I don't know.
Yeah,
stuff we
Exorcist. And
we missed the buck on that for sure. Yeah. So what's interesting to me is the correlation between what was mainstream to me and what was mainstream to you, and what it's kind of sad when you look at it is that the action-packed zombie flicks and the action-packed zombie games, they trended down, and then mainstream for you is when the slow prodding Walking Dead trended up, and now for you, part of the fallout is the insert Andys and the people with protagonist syndrome. And I'm going to add on to that. That also added to more oversaturation, because it got to a point where you watched The Walking Dead, you watched The Talking Dead, and then you watched all this media about all these stars, and then it was on AMC, right? And then AMC is going to make their next show. I forgot what it was.
Fear the Walking Dead?
No. I'm just talking about other shows like Mad Men and stuff. And basically AMC became the place to watch shows, and they just became oversaturated, and they started not following the comics, didn't they? So they did the same thing that the Game of Thrones team did. Didn't they?
Well, we'll put it this way. Like, do you remember, I think one of the last things we watched was when they made it to the building, and then there's that one chick she said that she wanted to stay, and then she stayed with whoever was in that CDC building, and then they blew up. That chick is still alive in the comics. She's one of the last survivors in the comics, and she became like a sniper. And then, like, I think also the actors, they've been in that show for like 10 years. Like that one kid, Carl.
It's not still going on, is it? It's over now.
There's another one.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there was Fear of the Walking Dead, and now there's another. Actually, no, they're continuing it. So now the people that are still left alive, they're still continuing it. Yeah.
And no one cares. So
Yeah.
so pretty much. So we'll say.
At least I think. I think. I don't know.
And now that you brought up The Walking Dead, I'm gonna say the end for me is The Walking Dead, because essentially what happened is it was probably subconscious, but now that everyone is talking about zombies, before it would just be like, hey, what games do you play? And they'd be like, man, my favorite game is like Resident Evil 3. And I'm like, 3? Why you like 3? You didn't play 4? What about 2? And that would be the people you would talk about zombies with.
Mm-hmm.
But now you talk about zombies and they're like, I love The Walking Dead. And you're sitting there like, you ain't watching anything about zombies. You're watching stuff about people. People complaining about living in an apocalyptic world and dealing with other people. And that's what I was talking to you about at the beginning. That the slow prodding zombies, they end up leaving the plot when the story goes for too long and they become an obstacle. They are not the obstacle. Mm-hmm. And the thing about the action zombie flicks is that
it's still a zombie.
It's like, hey, not only, Tom Harkin, do you have to deal with these zombies, you also have to deal with these monsters and these mutations and these dags and these bugs and this spider and these birds. And it's like, sure, it's pretty overwhelming, but that's the part that I liked. And your mainstream part is my end, because once you couldn't chill with the boys, and like I said, I don't want to cut people out. Like, if you played the action games, like, those are some damn good games, especially 4 and on a lesser note 5. 5 is a mixed bag for a lot of people, and 6 is a really mixed bag for a lot of people.
Yeah,
But if you liked the action zombie genre, if you don't mind being freaking tough and being battle hardened and getting ready to take out some BOWs, I liked the direction that it went.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead for me took the wind out of the zombie sails, because now it's more about how would I survive the zombie apocalypse versus how would this super secret agent with this super secret virus that makes them regenerate, be fast and strong, how would they deal with it? And how would they deal with these monsters? And how would the guy with the crazy arm, how would he deal with it? And you know what I'm saying? Like that for me is fun. I don't want to insert, because that world would suck. Honestly, if I gotta wake up and I hear, it's like, oh man, I gotta take a dump. What if it's a fast one? Like, you gotta just sit there and you just gotta be like, and you gotta sit there, you gotta hold it in, and you gotta hope that fat zombie, because right now you're incapacitated. You gotta go do your thing. Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't want to insert myself into that, because Leon survived through skills and through luck. He didn't just survive because he had protagonist syndrome. He had a lot of close calls there, and he probably should have died if not for Ada.
Without a doubt. And you can actually, now I don't know if they put that to the test, but they really push his luck in the Resident Evil 2 remake. If you compare him to Claire, he gets grabbed by Birkin. He gets his physical body smashed through the... How is he alive? I have no idea. Maybe the grates were faulty.
He probably had the virus.
Possibly, but yeah, like fucking Birkin smashed him through. Claire dodges, and then Birkin goes down to the bottom. But then...
Ouroboros chose him.
Fuck yeah, it did. But yeah, Leon gets smashed through. And then what is it? Like, Leon gets attacked by the dogs. Like, everything goes bad for Leon, but then yeah, he gets saved, or just something helps him, like Ada helps him out. So it's like... It's... interesting, to say the least, because luck, people say it's not a superpower, but Domino and Longshot, both of them say it is a superpower.
So So for me, the end was The Walking Dead. Hell, what was the end for you? Is it Train to Busan? Is that the end for you? Because to most people, they consider that the perfect zombie movie.
I fucking hated it.
I have not watched it yet, and I never will. I'm sorry, and I understand if y'all aren't into the action. I want to see what Dutch would do in a zombie invasion.
Goddamn right.
I want to see what Judge Dredd would do in a zombie. You know what? I want to see what Frank Dukes would do in a zombie invasion. What's he gonna do with that katana sword?
Oh shit!
So
you cannot get katana sword by stealing.
So going off of that, what was the end for you?
I would say Train to Busan, but just the overall for me, like also was when they got to the farmland in The Walking Dead. What was it, season 2? I pretty much.
How about this one
out there?
The Last of Us.
Yeah. You know what's terrible is that's a great thought process and everything, but it's just like when, again, maybe I'm just a super hard contrarian, and when people say something's amazing, it's the best, yada yada yada.
Honestly, you know what The Last of Us gave me the vibe of? I feel like, and this is from somebody who's never played the game. I've only seen it from other people. I've only heard about it from other people.
Yep.
When I saw the trailers, it gave me like, did you watch Lone Wolf and Cub? And did you decide to put it in a zombie world? Because that's what I kind of felt like when I saw it, and I'm like, I've already seen, being a kid with older parents. You already watch a lot of that stuff, and I don't really want to see Lone Wolf and Cub in a zombie world.
Although here's the thing, they're not quote unquote zombies. And when I found out, I understand nowadays in video games, because players are actually getting pretty good. They actually know how to, move the reticle, aim for a headshot. The thing that I've also noticed is that now they need to make it to the point where, how do we scare people and how do we make people feel dread? Oh, just make these things invincible. And then I found out that later on that these Walking Dead monsters, these whatever the infected, I guess, because if they bite you, you die. It's a one shot. And I don't even know if, like, there's certain scenes where you have to just avoid them. And I already made countless videos where I just hate video games that make you hide and run like a bitch.
So again, essentially the end for you is when no one wants to see the freaking Navy SEAL or the French Legionnaire.
Ooh.
Or the what else? What's the Russian one?
I think Spetsnaz.
There you
Spetsnaz.
go. Like I'm saying the badass. What's the British one?
SAS.
So you know what I'm talking about? Like, I want to see what those guys are gonna do with the run-ins. Like, does their CQC work? Can they do the stuff that Leon did in that one movie? What's that movie?
What
the movie with Chris?
Not Degeneration. Fuck. There are so many. There's Degeneration. What the fuck was it? The last one. I can't remember what it was.
Well, yeah, the one where him and Chris meet, pretty much.
What is that? Vendetta.
Okay. Like, can he do that CQC stuff? Like, can they do? That's what I want to see.
That's Leon Wick right there.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
That's what I wanted to see. And when people wanted to just see civilians survive through obstacles and their emotions and them losing like someone important to them, and I don't know, it feels more like a drama. Is it a horror movie? Is it? It's more of a drama movie, isn't it?
It becomes like a fucking drama.
Yeah. Since
that's personally when I check out at that point.
So that whole period, do you feel like that's what kind of killed it? Like, is that why when people see a zombie movie, like, oh, I've seen that before?
Yeah, especially since it's gone on for so long. 10 years is a long time.
Because for me, I felt like...
Here's a funny thing, too. Think about it. That was 10 years for it to be overly saturated for The Walking Dead. I think it's 10 years now with Marvel movies.
Wow, yeah, maybe it's a 10-year cycle.
I think it's a 10-year cycle. So once 10 years hits... So what they should have done to try and keep it alive, 7, 8 years, cut it. But then how many big corporations, they only live in the now, they're going to think, I'll run this shit till the brakes fucking fall off.
And there was like all sorts of like stuff like Z Nation, and then there was like those that one bootleg sci-fi movie with Vin Rames we actually kind of liked, like for a crappy sci-fi movie with the tiger at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was just like the fucking zoo, the wild things.
Yeah.
From Resident Evil Outbreak. I was like, oh, this is cool. All right.
So
bad CGI, but fuck it, whatever. You're on a budget.
So do you think now this is truly the conclusion? What would cause a revival? Because right now, as we are now, man, remakes. They are legitimately remaking all the Resident Evils.
Now here's my question. If they remake 5, I might have to go and check it out. I really liked Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5, I want to see more of my girl Sheva. I mean,
actually, if you think about it,
Sheva, Wesker, dude, I want to see them all again.
No, you're
Jill.
You're missing something.
What was that?
What's the modern remake of 1? The Resident Evil 2 system is where it kicked off. Where's Wesker?
Oh yeah, they haven't brought Wesker back.
Maybe they're gonna just tie 4. They're gonna tie 4 to 7. Because think about it.
It's disgusting.
Seriously. That's your missing component.
Yeah, where's
Resident Evil 1?
If Wesker has nothing to do with Resident Evil 4, he's the one that sent Ada out there.
Or
we've seen Ada already.
Or is Resident Evil 4 the precursor to them starting back at 1? And maybe it'll go like 1, Code Veronica, and then 5. And there's going to be like a Wesker trilogy.
Where's 0?
0. There's 0 as well.
0.
So this is the thing.
Because as much as I don't want to support any more of these fucking remakes, if they do it well, okay, maybe. But it's like, come on, man. How much longer are you gonna... If you're gonna fucking remake it, do not cut any more content. All of the remakes so far on the RE engine, which was based off of Resident Evil 7, they've cut content. They cut the entire B scenario from both Claire and Leon in Resident Evil 2. They already completely cut out like anything after the hospital. The game ends at the hospital. The hospital's like 3/4 of the way done. You never make it to the fucking waste facility. That's where you're supposed to fight Nemesis and everything. But instead, they just combined it into the basement of the fucking hospital, and I don't know. To me, it's so lazy.
So you still had problems with the RE2 remake then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not done. It's as good as we're getting, but then they realized, fuck it, just ship it.
So
and it's incomplete. It's incomplete.
So then, going from that point, again, what will be that revival? What will be that Trojan horse that comes in and says everyone is into zombies again? And to be honest with you, it sure is only going to be these remakes. I don't think it's going to be these remakes.
I'm a diehard fan, and even I'm having a hard time fucking thinking about spending more money on a game that I know they're probably going to cut content. Because here's the problem. Let's say that I do buy the Resident Evil 4 remake, and if it has any cut content, I'm going to be pissed off and feel like I got ripped off. I'm naturally going to feel that way. If there's no mercenaries, going to be pissed off. I mean, at this point, if there's not 2-player mercenaries, I'm going to feel ripped off. Even though 2-player mercenaries never came in until Resident Evil 5, but it's like, you have the technology.
Wait, was it in 2 remake? Or 3 remake?
There was no mercenaries mode in 2 or 3.
So maybe it won't even...
Like I said, if there's not even a remake, or in the Resident Evil 4 remake, if there's not even mercenaries, they just added mercenaries to Resident Evil 8, the village. You know, the one no one gives a shit about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they added that, but it's like, it's first-person mercenaries. And if you guys know Avoiding the Puddle, Eris, he played the third-person mode, and he's like, I paid $20 for this, and it feels like it's someone's mod. Like, the animations just don't look right. He's like, the way the camera is and how it's focused in on this character, it feels like there's somebody standing in front of my TV. It doesn't feel right. So I hope that's not what Resident Evil 4 feels like, because remember, it's over the shoulder, not third person. If you're going to do like a true third person, that's Uncharted. Uncharted had a true third person where you can rotate the camera fully around them, look around, look up, down, left, right. That's full third person. But then over the shoulder is the camera's planted directly over the shoulder and it moves with you. So we'll see what it does. I don't know.
So then if you don't know, then
I don't know.
so
I really don't.
So what's basically going to happen is remakes and nostalgia, and it's just going to be another genre that has a few blips here and there. Hell, that's how action is right now.
Yeah.
It's just a few
put it
blips
this
here
way.
and there.
All the people who made the original things, they left the series. Like, Hideo Kojima. He's not a part of fucking Metal Gear Solid anymore. I think they might be making more stuff. Who knows? What was it? The guy that made the original Castlevania. What was it? Iga. He left and he made Bloodstained. The people that made Dead Space. They're remaking Dead Space. Looks good, but guess what? I already played that. And now you don't even have the original crew. The original crew is making a new game called Callisto Project or Callisto Protocol. Supposedly people say that looks good. So I think again, if you want good games to come out, you need the people that made them in the first place. So and fuck, man, I'm trying to think of the original person that made fucking Resident Evil. Sorry, I'm fucking blanking his name right now because I remember all these other guys' names. But I believe Kobayashi, he was a producer, and but man, I'm blanking on the main guy that made Resident Evil.
So pretty much, the current state of zombies is people that are insert Andes with protagonist syndrome, looter shooter style games.
Or creative characters. That's
creative characters, and
you make yourself for the insert Andes.
And just drama, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's all right. Yeah. Rip. Because honestly, I don't, as much as I'd like to go on to Netflix, I don't. But I would, and I'd be like, what's the new zombie movie? I'd like to have that opportunity.
Okay, to be fair, thinking about this, there was a movie. It was called Alive. I think it was a Korean movie. Fuck Train to Busan Alive. I think it's called #Alive. That's a fucking movie right there.
Okay.
Now, those guys, whoever did that, they have my full blessings. That's one of the that is probably the greatest new made movie that was about zombies, and I think they're fast zombies too.
Okay.
But that one was perfect.
But as
maybe not completely perfect, but as perfect as a modern day, as perfect as the Dawn of the Dead remake was. There's still some stupid moments here, but there are not as many stupid moments. That's the thing that pisses me off whenever there's something so stupid that happens. And just like, that is all beyond belief. Come on, you know that should not happen anymore. But then and then the worst thing too is when people go like, then these people started just biting and eating each other. Oh, you mean they're cannibals? So just say fucking zombies. We everybody at this day and age knows what a fucking zombie is.
Wait, is there royalties when you use the word?
I don't know.
Does Romero have the royalties as zombies?
If he does, maybe. But remember, in Z Nation, I don't think they ever called them.
Oh yeah, they call them Z's.
Yeah,
okay.
They call them,
and maybe that's what it is. Then it's the royalties.
Yeah, and then if you think about it too, like what was it? In 28 Days Later, they weren't zombies; they were infected.
Okay.
Same with what was it, Last of Us? They're not zombies; they're infected.
Well, I'm just saying that. In conclusion, in a perfect world, every 6 months to a year, I would have liked to go on to a streaming service and see a B zombie movie and be like, that was pretty good. And then the next year, a little too much drama. And then the next year, oh, they're getting better. More action.
There you go.
So that's basically what I wanted to see, a progression to where every year you would see like a decent one. Maybe you'd see like an actor. Hey, that's Chris Evans or something, or hey, that's Donnie Yen. I don't know. Something like that.
I'd be fucking sick of Donnie.
Yeah, you would start seeing them in B movies and stuff. Wesley? You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm down. Wade's got to make a comeback.
Ronda Rousey? Yeah, I'm just saying that. I just wanted to see like a B movie every year, and I guess maybe the movie industry just doesn't have that expendable income to be able to sacrifice some resources into these B movies. And hey, maybe Romero does have the freaking licensing for zombies, and he has to get paid out royalties every time you use the word zombies. So
Maybe kind of like how Michael Jackson had the Happy Birthday song.
so what in a perfect world, you know, how would it play out for you? Would Resident Evil 7 be like Wesker's backstory or something instead of being what it is now?
Yes. Basically, my thought process is just bring back because in the end, you were not supposed to know what Ethan looked like. Like, they kept it a fucking secret. You just knew that he had, like, I don't know, like, slightish, whitish, blonde hair. I don't know, like, 7, I played 7. 8, I had zero interest in. And just, yeah, I don't know.
So do you think with the more sequels they make, they stray further from God?
Absolutely. Yep.
So it's dead.
I hate to say it, but yeah. Like I said, Resident Evil 4 will have my blessings, and I might buy it on sale if I see a Mercenaries mode. If there is no Mercenaries mode, they're just fucking with me at this point.
All right. That's it.
It's a very sad state of affairs, but yes, looks like it.
Feels bad, man. All right. Close it out.
All right, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Obviously, it's just kind of us ranting, saying whatever, but damn, man. Yeah, it's a sad state, but what are you going to do? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys out there. Later. Alright, I'm kicking you.
Ah!
That's bullshit.